Okay, welcome to the OpenStack Now podcast. This is episode 7. You may notice that we have a slightly different format than we normally do. That is because our very own John Jainchik is on vacation this week. He's off in the land of Stephen King up in Cape Cod, trying not to wander onto the wrong property and get himself killed. Last I saw, he was off fishing. So seeing as how John is the one who normally handles all of the technical aspects of this thing, we decided to try something a little bit different when he wasn't looking. And so here we are in the Hangout. So I want to welcome our special guest today, Sriram Subramanian. Did I butcher it?
No, you got it right, Sriram.
Yay!
Yay!
Okay. The CloudDon. Sriram is an analyst and also are you principal of CloudDon? I take it.
Yeah, you could call me that. Yeah, I'm founder and principal cloud specialist at CloudDon.
All right, excellent. And so today we're going to talk about what's coming next in OpenStack. We're going to talk about containers because apparently there is some kind of law that you cannot have an OpenStack conversation these days without talking about containers. And we're going to talk about the new breed of startups. Everybody says there are no startups, but maybe that's not actually true.
Absolutely.
So how is your day? So how's your day going there, Sriram?
So going good. We are in West Coast, so kind of getting started, but that's good.
Yes, that's true. So yeah, this is a kind of a guerrilla thing doing it this way. So yeah, I'm over on the East Coast, so I've already had half of my day.
Yeah. Hey, before you get started, Nick, thank you for inviting me to join on OpenStack now. I'm excited, and I've been following you guys and watching a couple of episodes. So neat. About what's happening. Yep.
Well, thank you for coming because I've been reading your content for quite some time, and you always have an interesting take. You look deep into what's going on, so that's always good.
Oh.
So tell me. So let's talk about that. So let's kind of start with that. Where do you see things going from here?
Oh, good, very good. Yeah. We are post Kilo Summit and then getting ready for the next one, and then we are halfway into 2015, right? So I would like to refer back to my article early this year from GigaOM and also kind of update with what's happening right now. Like 3 major things that are expected to happen in 2015 are like one, OpenStack is making big inroads into enterprise and telcos. Like it's kind of it started moving away from this public cloud space and then focusing on enterprise needs, and then the telcos came up quick, and then I see more work happening in that side. And of course, like containers are a big thing. And earlier I called out that unless OpenStack ecosystem is working towards adopting containers or making containers more native citizens, they're going to lose out. And projects like Magnum and even App Catalog. So they are helping to make containers more native to OpenStack ecosystem. That's good. And then third thing is I am personally a big fan of startup and being an independent, being a small entity, not as part of a big company, right? I always want startups to succeed, and you know, like and OpenStack ecosystem. If you're noticing from the beginning, right, very early years, it was a hotbed of multiple startups, right? I mean, you guys are big now, but you guys used to be like small players back then.
Yes.
And then we had like a lot of crops of Piston Cloud, Stack Ops, and I mean lot of cloud scaling. And then so in the past year and then around this mid-year, right, a lot of consolidation happened. Almost everybody is either acquired or they've exited. You know, fortunate or unfortunate. Few big newses, Blue Box, cloud scaling, Meta Cloud. These are all like successful, happy exits.
Right.
Hey, Nick, I'm hearing echo. I'm hearing playback.
You're hearing playback?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's pause for a minute. Okay.
Okay, apologies, sorry. So I think the Google started playing the live one automatically. So
That's fine. We'll edit it
okay,
out or not.
okay.
This would be an Easter egg. So, email us if you saw that part.
That's right. That's right. Yes. So we had good exits, good happy exits, right? So, but then people started calling out that then it is said startups are no longer part of OpenStack ecosystem. But I take a different approach, and then I anticipated that like the first round of innovation was focused more around how do you package this, how do you make the installation easier, deployment easier, right? But of course, infrastructure is just only one part. What do we do with it, right? What kind of applications we can have, and then much more innovation on storage or networking and a lot of cool things. And that's what I'm seeing happening. And then we do have a handful of startups, more than a handful of startups right now, very active and then making cool inroads.
Okay. And so now what kinds of things do you think that these startups are focused on? I mean, I have my opinion, but what are you seeing?
Sure. Yeah. Some of them I see is like startups like Guardico, right? Like they are making it more secure. How do you making security and compliance easier? How do you make sure that your infrastructure is secure, and how do you make sure that applications running on your infrastructure are not malign? How do you monitor them? How do you it's not like auto mode, but it's a good beginning, right? That's one end. The other end is like application monitoring itself, right? Like we focus more on infrastructure. It's great, of course. We need to have some SLA 99.9, 59s, 49s, whatever it is. Like, but once it is up, right? As far as you're an IIS land, whether it's IIS land, right? You own your application infrastructure, right? You need to
Right.
take care of your SLA on the application. Then you need to have monitoring, or you need to have a health monitoring system at the application level. Sort of like AppFormix are doing that. And then
Right.
yeah, and then much more like deep into the depths, right? Like take Akanda for instance, right? There's been a lot of networking, virtual networking, and then SDN activities, but they take it level above and then innovate on L3 level, right? So even I'm not sure if they're looking at telcos, but I personally am excited for them, and then I see that a lot of telcos could be of benefit at NFV, and virtual networking application could make benefit of Akanda kind of startups. So these are a bunch of startups, and of course, like if you want to call out like a redo or a spin on the traditional, or if you want to call it traditional, the infrastructure problem that's making the deployment easier. Platform 9 has a different spin on that, right? So these are all some of the things, like to broadly put, right? Not just the infrastructure, but a level above, whether it's an application itself or making the application more manageable, or cool things on innovation itself, virtual storage, taking the virtual storage to the next level, taking virtual networking to the next level, or security. Those are some of the areas that I'm seeing a lot of activity from the startups. And of course, like there's much more.
Sure. So the first round of startups, the first sort of generation of startups for OpenStack were more focused on, let's make OpenStack, and
Right,
let's make
right.
it and make it usable. And it's like, okay, all right, and now we've got it now. Now we can kind of, so the current round of startups is more focused on, well, these are things that we couldn't have done before because there wasn't anything to build on.
Correct.
And now, now we have it.
And
So,
of course, like since we have to have the container talk, right? Of course, there are
that
bunch of startups making containers more native, more better citizens on OpenStack, better infrastructure, right? CoreOS, Rancher OS, so those kind of startups are of course there, but may not be like OpenStack centric, but work in the fringes of OpenStack.
Right. So let's talk about that for a minute. When Docker sort of really exploded on the scene, the big thing was, oh my God, it's OpenStack is no longer the only really popular open source project out here. There's Docker, and it's so popular, and everybody loves it, and containers are so wonderful. But all of the doom and gloom and OpenStack is going to go away. No, it seems like I remember writing my first post on it. I was like, guys, you still need computers to run your containers on for the most part. So you still got to manage the overall infrastructure. So how do you see kind of that intersection between the two?
Interesting. So personally, I think OpenStack community, I think we have reacted a little bit late to the container hype, right? Like it's a great progress in the last year, the Magnum itself, and then more work on what Mirantis is doing with Kubernetes and making working with Google and CoreOS, for instance, to make container orchestration easier on OpenStack infrastructure. But personally, I think OpenStack community was a little slow, but it, the I wouldn't be too harsh on that. The reason being that the reason is it's not about OpenStack, it's about how mature the container technology is, right? So
Yeah.
2 years ago OpenStack was like hot, and then everybody wanted a piece of it, right? But you and I know, and everybody knows that like how mature it was 2 years ago and how mature it is, right? So
Yes.
similarly, containers and cloud native are at the peak of the hype cycle right now. It is
Yeah.
great. There's a lot of promise there, but when it comes to the adoption, that's when like people would see what the problems are and then what needs to be taken care, right? So much innovation is around spinning up, spinning out the containers, right? Like orchestrating thousands of containers across a
Right.
cluster.
Which is
That's a great problem. I'm not denying that, but that's not the
yeah.
only problem, right? That's not the only problem we have. And to combining these two together, right? It's not a threat. I'm very happy how OpenStack community and ecosystem has adopted, then
Right.
trying to work on making containers more native, right? Yeah. One thing that and another interesting thing that we have to follow is if you've been tracking OpenStack, right? Like I think the primary use cases, the primary workloads until a year ago that OpenStack communities talk about was like cloud-aware applications, right? So hey, don't use OpenStack for enterprise applications because it is not meant for enterprise applications. It is meant for cloud-aware applications, not
Yes.
in the container term, not in the microservice system, but more in terms of composable, more in terms of fault tolerant, more in terms of nearly stateless, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then that boat left, and then the focus shifted to enterprise, right?
Yes.
So this great, tremendous work happened the last year, right? Making it highly available, or at least all the proprietary distributions are offering some kind of HA. OpenStack, you can have like nearly, it's not as nearly as a just click and have an HA enabled, but close to that, right?
It's on Mirantis.
That's why I said like all commercial distributions, not all of them. Yeah, but almost everybody has a HA, some kind of HA inbuilt and very easy to configure. So that's great. So enterprise customers are happy, and then you are seeing a lot more adoption in among enterprise customers, which is
Right.
good. But then the boat on cloud-aware applications have shifted, has gone, right? Now it's coming back, and then we have with this cloud native foundation, applications foundation, and then OCI initiative, all those things. OpenStack need to either be part of that, or at least like try to make contributions, try to make the platform enable a platform compliant, or making the cloud-aware applications more native.
I think where we are right now is that the OpenStack community is participating in that process by. Okay, I think that OpenStack itself was created to be modular so that it could adapt to all of these situations, and I think that it didn't. I don't think anybody understood just how important that was at the beginning. I mean, everybody was thinking in terms of, oh, we need to, make sure that we can plug in different kinds of hardware and stuff like that. But the end result is that we've wound up with a system that can adapt to all of these different models. Okay, great. So now we've got, cloud native, computing. But a lot of that is not just, OpenStack cannot make an application cloud native. The reality is, and this is what I try and explain to people all the time, it's like, look, if you take a traditional application and you put it in the cloud, that does not make it a cloud application. Okay, that makes it an application running in the cloud. Right. So, it's about how developers build applications. It's about making sure that they take into account all of the things that you need to take into account on a, in a cloud application. Things are going to fail, and you need to take into account latency, and you need to worry about this and think about that, and that's and the microservices architecture, where you have different information coming from different places, which also lends itself well to containers, that is perfect for that kind of thing. And so what is wonderful to see is that we have not one but two ways that OpenStack has kind of adapted to that, because you have Magnum,
yep.
but then you also have Kubernetes and and different. Okay, what can I say? Today's Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Today's Wednesday. So we have Kubernetes.
Yeah. When is it going live? Oh, it's live now. Sorry. Yeah.
This is live now. That's why I'm like, wait a minute. We published on Friday, but we're live now.
Yep.
So I feel like Craig Ferguson all of a sudden. It's like, did this happen in the future or in the past, or no? Yeah. So we have Kubernetes integrated with Murano. So and of course Murano running the application catalog, and I'm sorry, Murano is the app catalog. You know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Point being, all of that is already there.
Yeah. No,
so
you said it very well. When I want to highlight two things. Like, you said it really very well. Right? I think OpenStack, being native, being inherently composable and modular, right? It is more suitable for cloud-aware applications. That's right.
Yeah.
And then I threw in a word hype, right? I think what is not happening, or what hasn't happened in the recent announcements is, right? Like, it's not like prominent enough in this new scheme of things, or new scheme of announcements. That's what I meant, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the architecture, whether it's suitable for cloud or applications, absolutely yes, right?
Right.
And then whether it is suitable can it be made suitable for enterprise applications? Yes, the community has acted upon, and then it has made itself more suitable for enterprise applications. So the infrastructure itself can lend to both kind of workloads, both kind of applications, right? Now, of course, and then there is always the education part. One good thing deploying or selling OpenStack is, like, you've been talking to customers, you've helped them think in terms of cloud, help them move to cloud, right? There's a lot of education happening on the customer side, helping them understand that just taking my SQL Server and putting on a VM on a cloud is not cloud native or cloud aware. It's not even a good. It doesn't even make sense economically, right? So all those education projects happen, right? Now we still have to take like a little bit more. So the advantage here is that you talk to both kind of customers, you talk to enterprise workloads, and then help them how a composable architecture like OpenStack can be made to run suitably. And given that it is composable, then how do we run cloud native or cloud aware applications on that? So that's the second part. And of course, like, by making containers more native, then you're also helping it, right?
Right.
But from the visibility point of view, from the hype point of view, I think there needs to be more participation from OpenStack in how do we bring back, or how do we enable the cloud native applications better, right? Right.
Okay, and that's fair enough. And I think a lot of that also has to do with the same thing that OpenStack and cloud in general have been struggling with from the beginning, which is that enterprise adoption is not all about technology.
Right.
It's about culture.
Right.
I said it 2 years ago. It's like, stop asking if OpenStack is ready for the enterprise. OpenStack is ready for the enterprise. Is your enterprise ready for OpenStack? So and there are so many cultural changes that have to be made that people don't recognize, and so that's another thing that we all have to kind of struggle with.
And that's true not only for OpenStack, right? Even with the new push, and you talk about cloud native applications, right? There has to be significant, like, if the enterprises have to move to adopting more or enabling more cloud native applications in their org, right? I think it's not just infrastructure, it's not just the software, it's one of the process, and then you still have to answer the old question: what do you do with the legacy apps? What are you going to do with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So All right, so let's shift topics slightly. Let's talk about NFV for a minute. So you're right, NFV kind of snuck up on everybody. NFV being network function virtualization. Well, talk for a minute about what it is and what it's being used for right now.
So very simply put, right? Like you are abstracting out, you are virtualizing out a lot of network functions, like whether it is load balancer, for instance, or firewalls, or routers, right? So when people talk about the virtualization, we've been focusing mostly on like virtualizing your hardware, right? Using Hyper-V hypervisors, like you have this, you virtualize your hardware and then to make more efficient hardware utilization, right? So it's you if you want to call that as if you want to see the NFV as the round two of that one, right? We virtualize the bottom layer now. There's a lot of up in the networking stack that we have had like dedicated hardwares or dedicated monolithic architectures. Like take routers for instance, take firewalls for instance, or take load balancers for instance, right? Can you virtualize them, and then if you split down the functionalities and then virtualize them, so that is what NFV is about, right?
Right.
And what it helps is, of course, like you want to make it more efficient. You're going to make it like more cost effective. Like instead of dunking in a lot of money into the proprietary hardware, like you're trying to move, and then taking one level above, right? Of course, software rules the world. We are doing everything as SDX, right? We're trying to enable everything to software, and then this is two steps into that one, and so that's the part about. That's a quick cap on what NFV is about in a very high level terms, not going into the gory details, technical details, right?
Right.
But how it helps, for instance, right? Like I personally see telcos getting a lot of benefit and a lot of ROI out of this, because like they've been like, they do have dedicated data centers, they do have their dedicated infrastructure. Everything is like very expensive, and and of course, like they made the investments many time ago. Like when it comes for a refresh, like like you don't have to go for again like very large opex. You can, if you have a softwareized, right, if you have a virtualized equivalent, that's more. It helps them. It both helps them in a cost-effective way, and also helps them to be much faster, right? They can innovate faster. So that's why like telcos are showing a lot of interest in this, right? Obviously,
Yes.
and yeah, and also it enables them to offer more value-added services, right? Like if the telcos, or if they have a if they have their if they have a marketplace, if you want to have a cloud brokerage service, for instance, right, and then they have their customers who are VARs or ISVs, right? They can offer services like firewall as a service or load balance as a service to those customers, and NFV would make it much easier, and then much easier for them to do that. So naturally, telcos are showing a lot of interest in that, and apply that to like how modular OpenStack is, right? So and then of course, like you can make. I want to say something about Neutron, but it's okay, But it's
Don't
okay.
be hating on Neutron now.
But like the modularity is, right, like highly modular it is, and then you can have those LBAS or FW firewall as a service and those kind of functionalities very easily, right? So combine these two, then OpenStack provides a very good platform for NFV innovations, and that's what I anticipated early this year. And then of course there's a telco work group that's spearheading the advances here. Name everybody, any big player, right? They have some kind of NFV effort going on, and then we have open NFV efforts going on. So it's in a good spot now, and I'm seeing a lot more. I'm expecting a lot more progress on that front this year.
Okay, so what I'm curious about is, we always talk about telcos when it comes to NFV, but it seems to me that some of those functions would also be good for the enterprise.
Yes, of course. But I would like to just to add a bit of caution here, right? Of course, like it's going to be helpful, but I want to start with like, what is your there is this can be helpful for enterprise, and then do enterprises really need that, right? I think yeah. So I like to make recommendations when there is a need, right? So
right,
and then look at SDN sales numbers, for instance, right? So SDN is cool, and but how many sales and adoption number now, right? How many are NSX is paying customers, and how many enterprises can benefit with that? How many are using that? So you can see the gap there, right? So similarly, same thing would be here, and of course I can see them how it can be benefited, but I want to wait them until like they need it, so that it is a value add for them, and it is a good enough investment for them.
Right. Okay. So fair enough. So let's, I'm going to change gears again. Now you're involved with a co-op offline. Yeah.
Oh, good. You found it. Yes.
Yes, I did. So talk a little bit about that. Tell us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Good. So one thing, right? I think you can tell me I'm from India, and then I've always heard co-ops in a different term, right? It's more like cooperative for farmers, helping them with like micro loans kind of services, right?
Really?
So, yeah, cooperative banks. We used to have banks where like farmers can get at a better interest rate or stuff like that. And after moving here, like the first co-op that I was a member of was PCC, and I didn't even realize that the C there stands for a co-op. I just thought it's a good store, and it's Pacific. They are in Northwest, and they sell good organic and healthy food. But then I stumbled upon this little co-op in Everett, which is still far from my home, but I had a specific need for raw milk, and then so I found them. They're offering it, and it's legal in the state of Washington, and then so they were a good store. So I started getting there, and then I started knowing and I started understanding about what they do, and I got interested, and then I put the relationship between how it can be I can be a small member but make a big contribution back to the local farmers and community back, and then so I got involved, and then been their customer for more than 5 years now, and I thought like, okay, I might as well help them improve particularly their online presence. So I'm serving on the board there.
That's great. So that kind of community, sort of community push. So how do you kind of compare that sort of offline community push to, say, software community push? How to tie it in somewhere, otherwise people are going to be like, what the heck are they talking about?
Oh, I know, I understand. And then before, just like I can get up before I get the name of the co-op is Snow Isle Food Cooperative. They are in Everett. Just in case anybody is interested, they can look it up. So
okay,
yeah. And then I wouldn't necessarily say offline, online, right? Increasingly the work-life balance is getting blurred, which means that we are working more, and then our households spending more time with personal commitments, right? But there are some value systems that you carry everywhere, right? And giving back to community is just the common thread that here between my contribution to OpenStack community, for instance, or anybody who's involved in OpenStack community, and then volunteer to this efforts, right? So there is a clear alignment there, and then the other values are like, of course, like you are enabling someone more local, you are enabling someone more closer, right? And then it's an inclusive ecosystem. Anybody can participate, anybody can benefit out of it, but anybody can contribute, right? So that's what I see that, right? And then so that's the value part, but if you want to talk more in terms of like taking to next level or taking to further one, the way that I read or there are some talks about this, like just some data co-op, for instance. Everybody contributes to that one. Everybody can make use of that, or even the concept of federated cloud. So it's not necessarily a co-op, but like at least the way that a federated ecosystem, federated clouds could play is like a lot of small players can pull in, and then be a very not I wouldn't say like a competition to a big player, but there'll be a sizable chunk, right? It's good in terms of the idea and philosophy, but the technologies around network latencies, and then like so that still will prevent that. Still, it's not enabling that yet. But I'm personally excited about the federated identity efforts that are happening in OpenStack, which will be one step closer towards this federated clouds.
So in terms of, I like to ask people about what they see coming next. It sounds like that's a big That's a big portion of
Absolutely.
what you see coming next.
Oh, absolutely. Good. So I would go back with those things, right? I think we talked about containers, and then it is good how OpenStack community has responded to that, and then how innovations are happening to that, right? So just stepping back, I don't want. I'm not saying like what's going to happen in the next 5 years or next 10
No,
years.
no,
I
no.
think that's the
Nobody's putting
we're
a
talking,
timeline on it.
yeah. We're talking the short term, right? So the first key thing is like, of course, like making cloud native more native and containers more native, right? So that's definitely coming in. And second thing is like I would stick to the same thing. Like the second round of startups are kicking ass, and then we can expect a lot more happening there, right? One hope for me, it's one hope, and I'm sure like it will come along too, right? I think a better business model around these startups, right? So just an infrastructure or just paying on services. We have seen success there. We have also seen not so much of success there, but as having a business model solely on services, I would like to see some innovations around the business models there, and hopefully something will be coming soon. I can't guarantee, but hopefully something is coming soon, right?
What do you think it will be when it comes?
Um, it's interesting. I'm also like keep thinking. I'm not very clear yet at this point, but
Fair enough.
yeah.
Hey.
But I know. Like that's true. Those are the key things that I'm seeing happening. And of course, we talked about NFV and enterprises, right? So those are there. Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing, one thing I would like to highlight about the cloud native is, right, I think the general hype around that, I think the way that the stack down looks down now is like take cloud native, and then cloud native is equal to microservices, and microservices is equal to containers, and dependency is equal to Docker. So basically, like then by the so everybody's equaling cloud native equal Docker, and pretty much that's the only equivalence. There is nothing else. So
Yeah.
that is not right.
Not the
So
case, right?
That is not the case, and there's a lot more work there. And then of course, like when you talk about there is the lines getting blurred there, then we're talking about an abstraction a layer above, which is not as much as PaaS, but equivalent to PaaS. So then there is moving the layer, moving the OpenStack from IaaS to the semi PaaS layer. That's something that could be happening in this realm of enabling cloud native applications.
Okay, excellent. What's your feeling on the whole hybrid?
Good, very good question. It is a reality. It is going to be the case where customers will have some kind of hybrid environment, right? Or at least there's some kind of heterogeneous environment, a combination of private and public cloud, just the way that workloads are, just the way that economics would work. But it is not the case as much as the vendors are. You need to have a hybrid environment, or like hybrid is the only way. So I am not in for those. I'm not in those for marketing messages. Of course, like every big player would want you to believe that a customer needs to have a hybrid. It might be true, but I would like to start from the customer's end. What do they really need based on what their requirements are and what their needs are, right? Instead of just saying that you need to have a hybrid cloud, right? And
right.
Yeah. So that's what I would recommend to my customers. And
Okay. So, Sriram, you have an event coming up in Seattle?
Yes, of course. Thanks for talking. Yeah, thanks for sure. Yeah. So yes, it's going to be the first ever OpenStack conference happening in the city of Seattle, the home of cloud computing. So it's called OpenStack Day Seattle 2015. It will be the first in series of the OpenStack Day events happening in Seattle. We have a little strong OpenStack community here. Like we have we have Blue Box office here, headquartered here. We have HP Cloud office here. So there's an active OpenStack vendor ecosystem here, and there are a handful of customers too. Big Fish Games, for instance, Conquer. So there are good customers. So the OpenStack meetups have been happening very, very effectively for the past few months, and that's great. But a one-day conference happening, this will be the first time, and I'm very excited to talk about that. And we have a fully populated three different tracks, and it goes along with what I was talking about, enterprise and telcos. We have a full track on enterprise. We have another full track on telcos, and a third track on trainings and workshops. These are all happening in the afternoon. And in the morning, we have we have opening keynote from Jonathan Bryce, followed up by sponsored keynotes, and then we have 3 great panels. Please take a look at www.openstackseattle.com, and
Great.
and of course we are also happy to announce that we are offering diversity scholarships to encourage work participation from women and minority. So if you have anybody, please send them our way, or they can just directly apply at our site, or just shoot me an email, Sriram@CloudDon.com. I'll be happy to send out more free passes to deserving to women and minority.
Excellent. That's terrific. And when is it?
It's on August 20th. I'm sorry, I thought I mentioned it.
No,
it's
no,
on
that's
August
okay.
20th. It's very close to OpenStack Silicon Valley, just a week before OpenStack Silicon Valley.
Yes, correct. OpenStack Silicon Valley is I think 26th and 27th. I can't believe I forgot when it is.
That's right. The following
Yes.
Wednesday and Thursday. Yes.
Yes. Little bit fried there. So OpenStack Silicon Valley, the 26th and 27th in Mountain View, California. Go to openstacksv.com. Tickets are on sale. Just go ahead and do that. We'll be talking about this is the unlocked architecture, oh God, I can't believe I've completely
Containers meet OpenStack.
It is Containers meet OpenStack, but we've got a whole tag name and everything. I'm going to have to edit this part out.
You have to.
Oh my God. The Unlocked Infrastructure Conference. I'm going on vacation tomorrow. My brain is not here.
Okay.
So
come back.
Anyway.
I'll be there at OpenStack Silicon Valley, so we'll meet in person again. That'll be awesome.
Yes. Very much looking forward to seeing you there. So we've got a lot of. We actually have a lot of really exciting speakers there. We're going to have Craig McLucky from Google. All right, now, who would have thought Google joins the OpenStack Foundation?
Oh, that's good. That's a very good point. Yeah, I was taken by surprise. It is. Well, take it back. It is not as much as surprising. Like I know when they are always a good participant in open source and open source community for sure. And then I'm sure like they would have explored OpenStack. They would have when they were working on their Cyborg and Kubernetes and like before working on that. I'm sure they would have explored that. That have been playing with it for sure, and I've seen their efforts around their PerfStack, or what is their performance evaluation tool, and that included measuring, evaluating performance of OpenStack. So it is not like totally surprised given that how close they were playing, and then of course we had a great keynote demo at the OpenStack Summit. But joining the foundation, I personally was like it was a pleasant surprise. So.
Definitely. So
and I'd like to add one more thing though. But like just within a week or two after joining foundation, they went and they started this Cloud Native Foundation. So that's awesome. That's actually like very smart of them. I personally think that this whole cloud CNCF is a very smart play from Google. A few months ago when VMware owned the handle Cloud Aware or Cloud Native Twitter handle, people thought it's smart. If that is smart, and think of this, right? Like in taking the entire mind share of Cloud Native applications to an orchestration tool. Essentially, Kubernetes is an orchestration tool, right? So that is very smart.
That is, it's interesting to see kind of this sort of battle of the foundations at this point.
Well, I have, people have been very. I see like arguments back and forth. Why foundation? Why another foundation? I will leave it up to them if they have enough resources to spend that. Like let them do that. I'm not personally against or for anything just for the sake of starting it or like destroying it. But my only request is that the foundation ensures a fair play from among the participating. That's the only thing. And see, it's coming. It's got backing from the next foundation. So I wouldn't question just that. Or just because it's another foundation. Why? I'm not very. I'm okay with this foundation. I'm not like questioning their existence. I'm not questioning their motivation, right? So it's okay. And then I read some few articles about like what is this enabling. That seems to be a good one, but I would stay away from the battle of foundations if I can. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Was there anything else that was there any question that you wish someone would ask you?
Oh, before that, I would like to just add a couple more on the OpenStack Seattle event.
Sure.
So it is on August 28th, and then as I mentioned, it is the first OpenStack conference happening in Seattle. And not only that, this will be the first ever OpenStack day across many cities to have a full track on telcos. So, if you are interested, if anybody's interested in how OpenStack, how people are using OpenStack for telco applications, use cases, and challenges, please, you should try attending this, or follow if there is like any live blogs or live updates. So that's right. Okay, cool. And then this is asking back questions, right? I know. So one thing that I think we talked a little bit about what the adoption is going to look for cloud native applications, right? So if someone would ask me, someone would want to, at least maybe I would like to ask, right? It's a great in promise right now, right? But the real challenge is like how many are ready, and then what will look like in real life deployments for those cloud native applications. So it will be interesting to see, and moving away from just the promise from the very early stages to like real life adoption from real applications, getting written, getting deployed in the cloud native way, how the both OpenStack and the participating players are enabling that. That would be interesting to see.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. So I will go ahead and thank my guest, Sriram Subramanian. Yes.
You got it right.
Yay! All right. The CloudDon. Thank you so much for joining us, Sriram. I really appreciate it, and I'd like to have you back after, sometime after OpenStack Seattle, and we'll see how it went.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity. I'll be happy to chat again on both OpenStack Silicon Valley and OpenStack Seattle.
Sounds wonderful, Thanks. And we will have links to everything we talked about in the description and on the blog page. All right.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, and you have a great vacation. See you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.